Hi, welcome to a review video on the Pecron E600LFP solar generator. Now, first off, I absolutely hate unboxing videos where somebody tells you about a product based on absolutely no experience. So we're not going to do that. It comes in a box. It's got some foam padding. Woohoo, it's a box. Inside the box, you get advertising, a user's manual. This actually isn't horrible. It's in multiple languages. Frankly, it is worth reading. The unit itself an AC charger and plugged into AC. Some basically uses a standard computer cable, but you get an AC charger, which is actually kind of big. You get a car charger. And a nice little bag to put your chargers in. Okay, let's talk about the actual unit. So to go over features, this has a battery life of 614 watt hours. So for solar generators, it's on the small side. On the other hand, this is currently selling on Amazon for $299. The prices fluctuate a little bit. I think it was $329 when I bought it. And you can get it packaged with a 200 watt solar panel. As of the time I'm recording this, I believe it's $538 for the bundle. It was a little higher when I bought it. In terms of connectivity for the actual device, you have a small input if you want to use the car charger. And that supposedly can handle 100 watt input. A larger input plug for connecting to either AC or solar. And this is indexed. I know it looks like you got a weird plug. Kind of reminds me of like an old school wired microphone cable. Those of you who've spent time on a church AV team, you know what I mean. But it's actually indexed. Like if you see this well over there. But you've got 5 pins and the top here is actually missing on the metal shielding. So it's index connects nicely to that. Might as well do that while I'm talking. On the top, you have a wireless phone charger. Personally, I haven't tried that because it's not really good for the battery inside your phone, and I had no reason to stress things. On the front, you've got 3 outlets. These are, in theory, 1200 watts. The inverter in this is 1200 watts, which kind of stands out as actually a really good inverter. Most units this small do not have, with this small of a battery life, do not have that high of a inverter. And that's actually why I bought the Pecron. You've got your 3 AC outlets, and then you have USB-C, 100 watt, 18 watt. Most USB-C is 18 watt. Some of the newer stuff for like that powers laptops and such, you need the 100 watt for. And then you have 2 USB-A's. If you don't know what USB-A's are, it's the big square or big rectangular connector that you may remember from the 90s. The USB-C's are the kind of more rounded connector. It's not indexed. And then we've got DC output, which is, continuing DC output. Basically a car charger port there. And it says 12 volt, 10 amp for that output. Now, I only briefly used the DC output to charge a phone, so I can't speak too much to that. Everything I want to power is AC. Now, when you initially want to use the unit, it will be in an off mode. See if it times out and goes into off. There it goes. To get the AC output, you actually have buttons here, AC out, DC out. You press and hold the AC out button. Comes on, does a display. On the screen, you have the battery output as a percentage. You have an AC out as a percentage on that little gauge. Get a little closer. See if the phone will focus. Okay, you have battery percentage, AC out, the current watt draw, so it's 0 watts currently, and at the current load, it'll run for 61 hours. Now, you can grab something to plug in. Okay, just plugging in an old fan. Let's get this to refocus. Okay, when I turn the fan on, you can see this fan at full power is drawing 38 watts, 39 watts, and at the current draw, it'll last for 12.7 hours. If I turn the fan on low, we can see we're pulling 28 watts, and it'll last for 16 hours. And on the top of the unit, you have a nice handy carry handle. And this is heavier than you would expect, but it's not that bad. I definitely can carry it around. My wife can carry it around. It's heavy, but it's not that heavy. So let's go do some quick tests on, see what this thing will do. Okay. We are using the Pecron to power an Instapot to cook 2 pounds of black beans. And the black beans have been soaking basically all day, since about breakfast, and it's 5:06. So, beans, 2 pounds of beans soaked, 7 cups of water, and hopefully I have dinner quickly. I'm just gonna put the camera there and drop it down so you can see what we're doing. And I'm just gonna speed this up 50x because it's gonna take a while. It's beans cooking. It's not that exciting. And somewhere we were stopped recording. Okay, well, I don't know what the recording missed, but we're down to 19%. That seems to have stopped running. It's currently drawing 0 watts, just the screen's on, and waiting for a pressure to release. Okay, let's just plug this in to solar. Okay, so let's see how this thing charges. Drop the camera as I plug this all in. Okay, so as you can see, the sun is back there. I'm in an area that should be really good for solar. Like, there's a commercial solar farm like a mile and a half from me that's pretty big. So set this up. It is like 6:05 in the evening. We're gonna let this go for an hour just to quickly show you what we're getting. No, we're getting a lot of nothing. Let's try that again, plugging that in again. Okay, the screen's hard to see. It says 104 watts in, 122 watts in, 126, 125. It's a 200 watt panel, so I'm actually doing decent. And we'll check back in an hour. So it is 7:06. This has been out here for about an hour, just over. Sun is still up, but as you can see, it's getting kind of cloudy. And when this is in clouds, that drops down to like 7 watt hours instead of 100. So we're going to finish charging this in the morning, and I'm going to clean it up for now. Where are you at? So 10-day weather forecast. It is supposed to be cloudy, drizzly, followed by thunderstorms, cloudy, thunderstorms, 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 scattered thunderstorms, cloudy, cloudy, thunderstorms, thunderstorms, and more thunderstorms. So solar is doing absolutely nothing. I'm just going to bring it in and plug it into AC, charge it back up, and do another test. We'll play with solar later. So we're just going to plug it into charge. The charging unit, I'm old. This reminds me of a 1990s, or well, late 90s, early 2000s laptop AC adapter that it comes with. If you're a computer nerd like me, that's going to be a very familiar plug. Let's plug that in. Put that in. And connect it to a wall. And the screen does not come on at all. Yep, that green light just popped on a minute later. Okay, just come up. It says we're charging at 132 watts, 165, 171, 77. Over 200 watts now, charging. According to the label, that is the max of 300 watts. So, charging at 214, not bad. I'm just going to let this run. It does have an indicator that this should be charged in 2 hours, 2.27 hours, 28. So, I'm just going to let this run for a couple hours. It is currently, I don't have a watch on. Okay, let's recharge a couple of batteries. These are 4 amp hour Greenworks batteries. These work in my chainsaw and pole trimmer, string trimmer, lawnmower. Pecron on. Plug one charger in. Now this battery was completely at 0. Okay, flashing were green, or essentially 0. This one is at 2 out of 4 bars. I only have 2 charges. Okay, it's pulling 90 watts to do that. That should get it. I don't know why something just beeped. 184 watts. Says it'll dry knit in 3 hours. Let's just let it run. So we're going to speed this up again to 50x because otherwise it'll be boring. Let's see if this one charges. It seems to be completely dead. Okay, need to pause the test because other things are happening. 70%, pulling 190 watts. That's at 3 bars. That's at 2. Temporarily unplug things. Turn the Pecron off. And come back in a few minutes. Okay, continuing the test. This from the AC out mode. Put things in. Okay, those are both flashing. Drawing 185 watts, 190 watts. We're at 69% battery. Let it run. Okay, so that one finished. That one's still beeping or flashing. This started at 25%. That started at 0. With 52% left on the Pecron. This is at 50%. So I'm just going to plug it in and let it run. Charge this all up later. Thank you. Okay, we are at 38%. So that started at 0, it's now full. That started at 25%, that's now full. This one started at half. It's almost full. Let that run down. Okay, charging is done. We are at 35%. Interestingly, it's drawing 28 watt hours just to power that. This is not efficient. It just dropped down to 27. That is really not efficient. But it's charged. Yeah. So we took 3 of those 40 volt, was 4 amp hour? Yeah, 4 amp hour batteries. And we charged them 2 at a time. One was at 0%, charged to full. One was at 25%, charged to full. One was at 50%, charged to full. And the Pecron is now at 35%. So we drained 65% of the Pecron capacity to do that. And now I'm going to plug it into power and charge it up because I'm going camping this weekend. Now we're going to cook some rice. Now this is standard rice cooker. We got 2 cups of Thai jasmine rice that has been rinsed. Stuff usually takes a little longer than your traditional white
white grocery store rice, but I'm a bit of a rice snob. I think this has been recharged. Turn it on, AC out. Yep, we're at 99%. Warm light just came on. Not too much of a reflection, and cooking, and we're going to speed this up 50x. I just realized we're on warm mode. So on warm, it's drawing 30 watts. And the rice is pretty much done. It's rice. A little on the wet side, but that's typical for jasmine rice. And we're at 77%, so not bad. Now, I previously tested this using 2 rice cookers at the same time, cooking 3 cups of rice each. And I can't remember what percentage it dropped it to. Unfortunately, I lost the footage, so that's why we're just testing it with 1 today, because that's all I plan to eat for lunch. Well, actually, I'm going to put some veggies with that, and I'm not going to eat all of that at lunch, but you get the idea.
So, is this unit worth it? It depends on your expectations. For my intended use, I'd say, yeah, it's probably like all of the individual activities I want to take that this unit would get used for, it will do. Some of them drain the battery quite a bit, like that cooking black beans, that drained it to 20%. And I'm in an area that's really, really good for solar. Like, there's a solar farm near me that's actually built by the utility company. It's like 6 square miles of solar panels. The area is good enough for solar that they built that out. But at the same time, when I got this, I did that test with the beans, and then it rained for a week, and I couldn't recharge this thing at all. Like, started raining an hour after I cooked the beans, and I was left with basically an empty unit for a week. So, something to keep in mind. Like, even if you're in a great place for solar, you want alternative energy sources. Like, in my case, I could grab some wood out of the shed and start a fire, and it's an alternative fuel source to cook with. So, like, there's definitely limitations on this. And I'm going to go backpacking, or not backpacking, car camping in a couple weeks, I think. And I'll probably bring this with a fan, because frankly, I'm in Texas, it's 100-something degrees out. I kind of want that. If you're looking for a unit that's going to power your high-end gaming PC, this is not going to give you power for long. It's going to maybe run you a half hour. If you're looking to power your entire house with heater and air conditioning and a stove and all of that, this thing's going to die in 30 seconds. Before you buy it, I would highly recommend you get a watt meter. The fancy brand name is Kilowatt. I'll put a link in the description. But it's a small device that you can plug something into, and it measures how much power that device is using. And you really want to get one of those and play around with it. It's like $20. And actually measure the devices you're planning to power from this, and see what their draw is to get kind of a realistic expectation of, will this work for what you need. Now, as I said, the Pecron E600LFP is kind of nice in the terms of all of these solar generators, because at this size with a 614 watt hour battery, usually the inverter rating is going to be close to the watt hour rating of the battery. And in the case of this thing, it's got an inverter of 1200 watts, which allows it to power big stuff like that pressure cooker. It's not enough to power my coffee maker though, which draws 1500 watts. Even though it wouldn't run for as long. If you're going to plug a microwave into this, you got to kind of pick your microwave up. 1000 watt microwave would work, an 1800 watt microwave would not. And at the price point of it, I think at its price point, it's a good option. With that said, you could buy, instead of buying a 1800 watt hour solar system with one or two of these panels, I can buy something like 3 of these, get similar watt hour battery storage, and then have the potential to have one of these in the house being used while the other 2 are outside charging, and also to have more solar panels, and also just have the redundancy. If one of these devices completely fails, I'm going to have spares.